the advice my dad always gives me before I go on stage. He'd be like, just relax, don't be nervous. It's like, well, now I am nervous.
Yeah. Like what you're doing is scary.
Yeah. Remember, this could go really bad. You know?
Yeah.
All right. We're here on the podcast. Cody Woods, everybody.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man. Good buddy of mine. We've done you kind of took me on the road the very first time with the Rolling Green Room.
I think so. I think that was that was like your first real road experience.
It was. I think I had done like a couple of out of town shows or something before that with another Nashville comic, but that was like my first like, oh, we're on the road, we're doing this. You know?
Yeah. It was fun having you because you already had jokes, you already had set up punch, like you're solid. Yeah, it was really fun having you. And then we shot guns. We did. That was when you had your Uzi.
I had just gotten the Uzi.
Yeah.
I don't even think I had it yet. Like I was still waiting on the paperwork to come through because we shot it in the range, I think.
Yeah, you had to keep it at the range for like a year or 2 years, something like that.
Yep. That one took like 11 months to get back.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like, what the hell? I needed this Uzi 10 months ago.
No, January 6th already passed.
Yeah, exactly. What the
hell? Dude, what a fun gun, man.
Oh, yeah. So much fun. Yeah. One of my favorites still. I mean, I've got two others now. I've got the M60 and I've got an M16, but the Uzi still, I don't know. There's something about, maybe I've seen too many movies, but something about an Uzi.
I think shooting an Uzi is like what you imagine it to be. Like when you're a kid, you're like, what would that feel like? It's exactly what that feels like.
Right.
I think when I first shot an AR-15, I was like, interesting. I didn't think it would feel like this.
Yeah.
And then, which is the only two like crazy guns that I've shot is like an AR-15 and an Uzi and an MP4.
MP5, you mean?
Or MP5. Yeah. Sorry, MP4. That's what
it's funny with guns. You can be like so close, but so far away.
I know. I was talking about video cameras. I was shooting MP4. Yeah, MP5. Yeah, that was cool. And that was also a gun where you're like, yeah, that's about what I imagine it to feel like.
Yeah.
Have you shot an MP5 yet?
I have. Yeah.
Of course.
They're like, to me, they're like silky smooth.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy about them. They're almost boring because of how smooth they are.
Right.
You know, which I think is maybe what you're getting at with the Uzi. I mean, you just think about the mechanics of it. The Uzi, it's a very like more old school type of design. Even though they came out, well, so the original Uzi came out in like the late 40s. So there is a big gap between the original Uzi and the MP5, which was like in the 70s. So I was about to say was wrong because the mini Uzi came out around the same time. But you just have this giant block of steel moving back and forth with this stamped steel box, basically, right? I mean, it's just a very crude gun where there's like an elegance to the MP5.
Yeah.
You know, it's more like an AR where you have a smaller bolt, you know, a roll delayed blowback. It's just like it's more sophisticated German engineering where the Uzi is just like, we have big chunk of steel. You know? You pull trigger, we keep shooting, you know?
My firebox just
it's for real. And then of course the MAC-10 is like even more crude. That's like the most crude machine gun ever.
Oh, that's right. I think you have one of those, right?
I don't know.
Or did you did you shoot one of those?
I've shot one before, yeah.
Okay. Did you have a video of you shooting one?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we did a video on the MAC-11, I remember, a while back.
Okay.
Which was like the 380. And you basically like, by the time you realize you've pulled the trigger, it's empty. That's how fast it shoots.
Yeah. Yeah. I finally started getting some pistols. Actually, I probably shouldn't mention what I fucking own.
Yeah, that's true. You live out there in commie country, as they call it.
Straight up. Jesus Christ, dude, it's so bad. I really started to look up, you know, I have to explain it to people, like how some of these laws are trying to like bankrupt. I mean, they can't, but they still try. Where it's like, I'll just say I have like a Glock, the really, you know, the pocketable one, the Glock 26, I believe is what it is.
Is it the fatter, like the fat full size one, or is it because the 26? So is it like the 43 or the 26?
Definitely the 26, the compact.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Because the 43 is it's thinner.
It's just it's I think same profile as the 26, but just a thinner slide.
Right. So I believe the 26 Generation 3.
Okay.
I think they go up to Generation 5 right now.
Right.
You can't get generation 4 or 5 in California.
Wow.
There's no fucking difference between the guns, really. If anything, you would think a reiteration maybe addresses some safety concerns or something, but you just can't do it. And like in Jersey and California, such high populations, and that's all money that Glock can't make after they've invested all that money to. So it is it's an absolute attack on guns because these companies invest money in developing a new gun, and then you can't sell it in the 2 most populous areas.
Right.
And so it is an attempt, and for reasons that aren't.
It's nitpicky.
Yeah.
Even that's the thing. It's like, even I don't think any of that should be banned, but even like trying to think of it from their perspective,
right?
It makes no sense.
I can't find a reason on their end that they actually need it.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to find what's dangerous about a reiteration of a gun that's been fucking sold already.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's maybe they got to bill it differently in a way that like a place like LA can understand. It's like, hey, this is the remix.
Right. Yeah. Right.
It's remaster. It's the remaster,
Yeah. This is a Chinese knockoff. They're like, oh, we like that.
Yeah. Totally. Oh, that would be interesting. What if that changed the entire climate of guns? If like China started like trying to sell guns to us, we're like, you know what? Actually, guns are okay. Yeah.
Right. I think it's totally fine. Yeah. When Elon Musk had his Teslas out there, like, the batteries are technically bad for the environment, and now that China's going to just kill it when it comes to electric cars, like, this is a really good thing. This is really it's really nice.
Yeah.
I listen to NPR all the time because I don't have anything in my car. I have a car from like 2003, so I hate all music now, so I just listen to like what they're brainwashing the people around me with,
yeah,
just so I know what's coming up next. Like, I know what the next thought system
right, yeah,
is coming.
Yeah, you do that with movies too. It's like,
yeah,
all right, what's the big popular movie? Oh, that's what they're gonna do next. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You're talking about Teslas. It made me think like, maybe what if we had machine gun powered cars?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Blanks, so it's safe for the drivers behind. Just a bunch of machine guns shooting at the back. Right. The recoil powered cars. Right. That could work. Safe for the environment.
By the way, have you driven a Tesla yet? Because I finally did 2 weeks ago.
Really? How was it?
And I wanted to like it because I think Elon Musk is a pretty funny person.
Yeah, for sure.
I fucking hated that car so much.
Yeah.
It's like a Toyota Prius who listens to a bunch of Andrew Tate videos.
Okay.
So it's like at the core, you're a nerd and you're not a car person, but you know how to say the right things. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah.
You're like when nerds try to be alpha males type of thing.
Yeah.
Because the car is bad. It's quick. The torque is wonderful.
Right.
That's it. That's the only good thing about it, because it's like a RC car where you're controlling.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start letting off the gas, the car is braking hard. It's like engine braking, if that makes sense. Like,
okay.
It's so hard. It's like you're in first gear on a regular transmission. You're like, damn.
Oh, weird.
So when you let off the gas, I'm like, well, I'm braking so hard, and gas meaning power. When I let off the power, are there brake lights behind me? Because now I'm deaccelerating like
right, yeah,
insane. So the cool thing is, yes, the brake lights do show up when you let off the gas completely.
Okay,
but no one wants to stop that abruptly.
Right.
So you have to let off the gas a little, and now there's no brake lights, but you're deaccelerating. Wow. It's so easy to get fucking rear-ended. And the pillars in the back, there's horrible blind spots.
Yeah.
You have the craziest sunroof ever, but no visibility.
I can see planes, but not cars coming around.
And like, the power is concerning, actually.
Yeah.
The torque is really concerning. I don't mind horsepower, but like, if a car can, the shit that I was doing, because I was missing exits because their GPS is terrible.
Okay.
And the screen, just to see your speed, you have to turn about right there to see how fast you're going.
Damn.
And it's all blue light because cars now are so fucking stupid. There's a reason speedometers were red and orange back in the day. The rods and cones in your eye, like at night, you can't see the depth of it. That's why. Like if you hit your peripheral with warm light at night, you can still have depth and long distance vision.
Right.
As soon as it gets hit with like a blue light, your depth it'll shrink. You can't see as far. And same thing if you look at the blue light and then your peripheral, you can't see it. So you're literally blind.
Yeah.
And you have insane torque.
Oh, wow.
And you have people driving them like rich liberals, the dumbest people in the world, have 1,200 horsepower at their foot, dude.
Yeah.
I hate the cars, man. I wanted to like it.
Interesting. Yeah, I never knew that. I've ridden in one, like getting Ubers and stuff, but interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always thought it's strange how much people do hate Elon Musk, though, where it's like liberals hate Elon Musk, but then they love the electric car.
Yeah.
You know, he sort of pioneered it. Not totally, but he was like a big player in that, obviously. But
yeah, the correct opinion is I like Elon Musk. I hate Teslas.
Yeah.
It's a shit car. And it was scary. I drove it to like a Warriors game. So it was like an anniversary thing with my wife.
Yeah.
We're like, let's go see the Warriors. So we flew in. We're like, let's rent a Tesla. We can really act like we live a way that we don't. And so
Steph Curry will be impressed.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, and we got some crazy seats because her brother made a lot of good decisions in life. So he has like season tickets
awesome.
at like in the booth and shit,
Hell
like
yeah.
club access.
Hell yeah.
And so, we get like crazy good parking. And but we're pulling up to this wall, and because you can't just let off the power and roll into you have to touch the gas. And you're coming up to a wall like this. Some parking lots you have like a brick wall. So I have to gas it with insane torque.
Oh, geez.
And you're just like, dude, I hope I don't run into this fucking wall, dude.
Oh, man. That's scary.
It's a horrible car.
Man. Yeah, I never knew that. I've heard things about that. I've heard a lot of the negatives being like the fit and finish. The panels don't line up, and like the interior and stuff isn't great.
And they rust fast.
Really?
That's another. Yeah, there's a lot of rusting videos. Oh, and they caught on fire the first edition.
That's not good. It's like going back to the 50s. That was like a thing that happened with old cars all the time.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, I like the concept of an electric car, but I don't like the way that they're trying to push it and force everybody, because California, didn't they pass a law where it's like all cars have to be electric at a certain
and they're
point?
aggressively taxing the gas to try to incentivize the electric car.
Man.
It's definitely tough. The gas here in Austin was at $2.30.
Yeah.
I think it's about $5 in LA right now.
Yeah.
There's just no reason for that much tax.
Yeah.
And our roads still suck.
Right. Yeah.
Doesn't even go anywhere.
That's like Chicago, same way. Infrastructure is dog shit. I mean, you drive under these bridges and it's like, they look like they're from the 1920s because they probably are.
Yeah.
And haven't been painted in 50 years, and they're rusting, falling apart, and they're just like some of the columns are like being like held together by just some kind of shit,
Yeah.
And it's like, and then the taxes are crazy, and
yeah. I would love to go to Chicago because I always have this idea of, all right, if I escape LA, I'm going to be saving money in any other city. No, they're all the same.
yeah. But Chicago is one that is the cheapest. It's cheaper than Nashville.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
People are just afraid of getting shot.
I think so. Yeah.
So, of course, you have the confidence to go into Chicago. The one white guy that's like, Chicago seems fine this type of.
Yeah. They got guns. I got guns,
Yeah. We can bond over that.
Yeah, yeah. I did have this this thought one time when I stopped in this gas station in Chicago, and it ended up being a way more dangerous spot than I thought it was. And I was headed back to Nashville and just needed to pick up some ice. I was bringing back some pizza for my kid, and brought him some real Chicago pizza. I had it in a cooler or whatever, but I didn't get the ice. Just got out of my fridge in the morning and needed to get some ice. And I was like, all right, I'll just get off the gas station right here. I walk in there. They got security in there. Guys like wearing a plate carrier, all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And I'm in line, and the guy like standing next to me is having a conversation about a stolen car.
Yeah.
He's like, I just hear him going, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh that motherfucker stole. I just got to put a wrench in, or what did he say, a screwdriver in, or something like that. Like it was like he was talking with someone about he's like I could just imagine the other and be like, man, how'd you get that car? And I stole it. It's like, do you even know how to drive that? Dude, of course. That's what the conversation seemed like it was.
Right. Yeah.
And then this other guy, I walked. he was like kind of blocking the aisle, needed to go down to get the ice. And I just like, excuse me. There was just enough room for me to get by, but it was like, it would have been rude to not say something. And I was like, excuse me. As I walked by, he goes, GD, which is a gang, the Gangster's Disciples.
Shit.
I was like, what the fuck? Where am I? But I was sitting in there and I was thinking about it. And I was like, man, I bet we all have guns in here.
You're probably gonna run into some fans. Like, hey man, I like what your dad did with that. I got the same piece, man.
That happened. Really?
Really?
I don't want to get too many details on it, but to get them in trouble. But let's just say I did a show in a certain place, and there were people of a certain community that in an organized sort of fashion that had guns, and they were showing them to me in a place that they were not supposed to have them.
Right on.
I was like, this is awesome.
Fucking Dutch. It's sort of off topic, but I love like when people have to like speak in code a little bit about things. So,
right.
Only white people have to actually.
That's
but
true.
So I was doing a joke about Burlington Coat Factory. I had to go in there because I flew Spirit to a gig. I was like, I bet it's like cheaper to like just buy clothes like than to add a bag, because Spirit's like $5 to fly, and then you add a Ziploc bag, it's like $940. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll just buy clothes when I land. And I find this Burlington Coat Factory, and they have all these signs saying, we prosecute shoplifters. I was like, well, they're attracting crackheads with their inventory, because like,
Oh yeah,
only one aisle I could buy a FUBU jersey, some pliers, and a candle. Like, who else is up? And they close at 12 a.m.
yeah.
So, like, who's up?
Right.
When I need some soccer ball and some plates.
Yeah.
You know? That's a fucking crackhead.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's hilarious.
someone called that joke racist.
Oh damn.
Yeah. And I was like, well, that's interesting that this joke is making your mind associate this with a group of people. So I pulled that, fucking reversal.
Yeah.
And what's great is I got a fellow Dutchman to like to like my comment to make him look racist. So I out fucking woked the wokester.
That's awesome.
Felt really good.
Yeah. A lot of times, when people are calling out racism, it's like their mind is there's what went there.
They're the ones that connect the dots first.
Exactly.
It's like that H&M thing. That was my favorite. All these white liberals. There's a black kid with like I think it's H&M, or is it Forever 21? I think it's H&M, because I believe H&M is Christian owned. So anything they do wrong, they're looking for it, right? So there was a black kid with a T-shirt that had like a cartoon monkey on it, and then they banned. They tried canceling H&M so hard.
Yeah,
but it's like, you're the only one connecting the shirt with the fucking model.
Yeah. You did that in your head. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. It is hilarious when people reveal themselves by trying to, be extra woke or whatever. Extra conscious.
Every white liberal I know in Hollywood that really virtue signals hard behind closed doors, they're the most racist people I've ever fucking met.
Yeah.
I've been behind closed doors with white people and conservatives, and they start saying, some fucking crazy shit.
Yeah.
I've seen way more like, hey man, why you don't have to say that. Like, I've seen way more of that in conservative than I have with white liberals on the other side. They're like, okay, the door's closed, let's fucking say it.
Yeah.
They're the.
Yeah.
I hate to sound like a fucking 2016 meme, but white liberals are the racist, dude. like at least that's what I've.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a famous white comic that I used to know. Hyper left. He's on the way left.
Okay.
Right. I was very close friends with him, and he's like a legend in the game. But the dude has no black friends at all, like zero. And I do a lot of black rooms, and I do material about my interactions with black people growing up, because I went to all black schools. He loved to try to call out my material as racist. He loved it, and it was just his way of being able to stay in his bubble.
Yeah.
And it's like I could stay on this side of the fence. As long as I keep coming out every 5 minutes, like, it's racist. And
Right.
okay, now I can go back inside.
Yeah, totally.
You know.
Yeah, I see a lot of it, especially being around comedy.
Yeah.
It's just the type of people that are drawn to doing comedy, as you know, is a very specific type of personality, and there's a through line with like everybody, but the way it manifests is different,
right?
You know, and it's like it is like a, you know, it's like all comics, we're all like kind of insecure, you know, we feel like we got to prove something, you know, to the world or whatever, you know, that we belong here, you know. But the way that manifests with like people who are like extremely like political almost on any side, you know, is like through like virtue signaling constantly where, especially comics, some of them feel like they care more about that than they do actually being funny most of the time, you know?
Right. And I think they know deep down that they're not quite funny enough to do this.
Yeah.
Or even funny at all. And they see this grift, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the trick to grifting is as long as you point out the other side's grift, you can't be grifting.
Right.
Are,
dude. Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
I see it with both. What's bothering me is the grift on the right because I was doing anti-left stuff well over a decade ago in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do it in Austin and all these like fucking safe havens.
Right.
I had to learn how to make people laugh at themselves.
Yeah.
Not pander to a group of people that hates that side.
Right.
So I had to do it with like extreme calculation, and it cost me dearly. I fucking couldn't get into the places that I could. If it wasn't for like the Chitlin circuit, I would be nowhere. Everything that I've ever gotten in my career is because the black comedy community helped me out. The white comedy community, which is all left,
right?
They fucking hated me, and they saw me as like tainted goods, like because I do black rooms. That's how they saw me. As like, oh, you just do that. I'm like, no, I do a harder crowd,
right?
And you don't like that. It makes you insecure.
Yeah.
Than your saved alt bullshit where the audience is so patient. And don't get me wrong, I love alt comedy when it's developed very well because that patient audience can make a comic amazing. They can really like Stuart Lee. I don't know if you ever watch him. He's in the UK, super alt, and he's super left. So I can enjoy left wing comedy. He's probably like a full on communist, to be honest. But I think he's hilarious. And he actually takes liberties with that patient audience. He does not safe things.
Right.
He's jeopardizing the show, possibly. You know, that's the only way to be impressive in front of an audience like that. Not going up there like, fucking the people in the South are racist.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Easy fucking.
Or being like a hack thing I see a lot of comics do, whether they're white or black, is being like, oh, there's a lot of white people in here. It's almost worse when white people do it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like it always works. When I see it, and it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. I used to have a standard opener when I would go up, you know, it was like fucking 5 black comics and then me on a black audience. And I would just say, you know, surprise. And then that's it.
Yeah.
And then I got to move on. But I had a feeling like some black comics didn't like that I had that leverage to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Like I could I had something to work with.
Right.
But then I'd see them do that all the time in the white rooms. Like, oh, there ain't no black people in this town.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm nervous. I'm get the fuck out of here. I'm like, you're doing the same thing.
Right.
So
anytime there's a novelty to you in that room, it's like, you can exploit it. And I'm not saying it's wrong to do that because I've seen it done well. Yeah. But we've all seen those comics where it's like it's just the same shit we've seen over and over. You know?
Yeah, with the exact angles that's been done, you know. Yeah,
exactly. It's just it gets boring. One thing that like you were sort of touching on that is something I've noticed as I've been doing comedy longer, and I bet a lot of like showbiz is like this, where there's this weird paradox where the industry itself, maybe not the industry, but like maybe the industry is the wrong term, but like the community of comedians and kind of like the I don't even know what to call it, but like a comedy scene, let's say, right, in a city or something like that, tends to be very, very liberal because a lot of the people who get into comedy are, and they're the ones who kind of run it, and that's just the way it is, right? But then I guess then more at the higher level of like, I guess what actually would be like the industry, right? The clubs, the club owners, things like that. They are relying on entertaining more regular people, right? Because it's like, the typical audience at your typical comedy club, it's older people, it's families, people on date nights. It's just like a big mix of people. Unless you're in some like super liberal place, you're going to have a lot of conservatives in the audience.
Yeah, or at least moderates.
Right, at least like half and half, or whatever. So it's this weird thing where like there's this filter of the local comedy scene that like tries to make everyone liberal and tries to keep out anyone who's not liberal. But then up there, it's like that's not necessarily what works, what they want. So it's this weird like barrier to entry that's not like realistic to what the actual job is,
Yeah, I agree with that. And because the vacuum is only aimed in that direction, they've had so many failures. Like, what was her name? Something Singh, Lily Singh, I think. They gave her a late night show, and she's just an ultra woke comic. Yeah, and they gave her late night, and it failed.
Yeah,
but who's at home watching TV at that hour? All the liberals are out fucking doing drugs at that hour, And then the families, they're just like, fuck, I guess I'll just turn on the TV, and they can't relate to any of that shit.
It's like Colbert. I haven't watched Colbert in forever, but like when he took over for Letterman, it's like his whole show was basically like, I am putting out left-wing propaganda.
Yeah.
And Letterman's show was never that. Like, obviously, he was like a left-leaning guy, but
right.
You know what I mean? Like, those late-night shows are supposed to be just kind of a fun, light show to watch. You got a celebrity burping into the mic. I burped and then looked away.
That's going to be in the soundbite for whatever communist comic decides to take you down.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to keep the burp in.
Yeah, for sure. The burp is staying in. That'll be like I'll have like an outro for the podcast at some point. It'll be like State of Capacity Podcast, and then is that burp? Oh shit.
Yeah, it's like it's a propaganda machine. Like, it's not absurd for just moderates and conservatives to enjoy liberal performers. That's what they usually do. But why the hell do we have to be like a direct funnel to the DNC?
Yeah.
Just to have any leeway in the business.
Right.
I even enjoyed Colbert when he played a right-wing idiot on the
I thought that was great because he's making fun of, like, again, the extremes of that. And that's kind of shit was kind of corny. So it was funny, you know?
Yeah, we had to deal with a lot of that back then. And at that time, I think the right were sort of the moral authoritarians at the time.
Yeah.
But now that's shifted.
Yeah.
And are they willing to punch the other moral authoritarians?
Right.
No, definitely not. God, no.
Yeah. People always, though, got to take it to an extreme. Like I've noticed with like younger kids, there's like this big split that's happening. They're either like non-binary and have like purple hair, or they're dressed like a fucking cartoon version of like a white trash uncle.
Right.
And drink natty lights. And they got mullets.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like, all right, you guys need to chill out.
They really do. And I know they do it out of irony, but I'm like, just stop being a bitch and say that you're revolting a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I see so many white guys with mullets in LA. And I'm like, look, you're either going to be Theo Von #2, which won't happen.
And Theo Von is that guy.
And he is, yeah, he is actually that guy. So, yeah, I'm seeing that a lot where it's like,
it's corny. Thing is, I grew up in a place where those people really existed. No one liked them then.
Right.
People were afraid of those guys.
Right.
They beat women. They wrecked cars. They were the reason you died in a drunk driving accident. Like, they were not good people.
Yeah. Right. They were the reason. Because all the other drunk drivers, you could keep it together. You can, But those fucking white trash, like they'll run into a school within a second.
Yeah. You don't know. This is a bold statement, but this might be my favorite story that I've ever heard. This comedian, his name is Josh Wagner. He has an album out called. I always got to pitch his album when I bring him up because I want to see him be successful, and he's really funny. His name is Josh Wagner. He has an album called I'm like, what's the fucking name of the album? It's called Orange Juice.
Okay.
That'd be hilarious if I couldn't remember it.
Yeah.
I always want to see this dude be successful. What's his album? Fuck, I can't remember.
Yeah.
He's very funny. But anyways, he told me because he grew up like kind of white trash, you know,
Yeah.
and he told me one time this car crashed into the mailbox in front of his house, and boom, crashed in the mailbox, and he like gets out like, what the hell's going on? And this guy gets out of the car and hits his hands on the hood, and he goes, "I'm above the law." just to be drunk and crash your car into a mailbox and still have that much confidence.
Right. Yeah, isn't that like a I think I remember that damaging a mailbox is actually it's not a misdemeanor.
It's pretty serious, I think. Yeah.
It's actually very fucking serious. Like,
Yeah.
it's like the value of a mailbox is like almost equivalent to like one illegal immigrant. If you hit them,
Oh shit.
it's like bad. You go to prison if you damage a fucking mailbox.
And what if it's an illegal immigrant working for the post office?
I'll find out in California in
okay.
about 2 years. I'll get back to you
All right, okay,
because
all
I'm
right.
pretty sure they're going to be government employees between
Yeah.
between.
Yeah.
They're coming.
Oh yeah. Dude, the border shit's getting wild. It's heating up
Yeah.
here in Texas.
Yeah. Well, what is it? They shut down, or actually, no, I
The
heard
National Guard, the Texas National Guard is like supposedly, I've heard different things, but supposedly the Texas National Guard is being mobilized to like shut down the border, and then the feds are not happy about it.
And I also heard the feds are refusing to arrest the National Guard.
Yeah.
So, but I guess they have orders to, but they're refusing.
Yeah. Which, yeah, I mean, I heard some talk about like Biden's going to send the military down there. It's like, anyone who knows military guys, they're not doing shit to other military guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they would be done in their life. You know what I mean?
Right.
Imagine being an active military, and you like shoot or arrest a National Guardsman,
Yeah.
one of your brothers. You're done.
over.
You're done, dude.
Over allowing illegal immigration.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not even insubordination or anything, dishonorable.
That's worse than a dishonorable discharge. You know? I mean, that's crazy. No one's going to do that.
Yeah. And now I think Biden's going to flip it, like where he's going to try to start. Didn't he say he wants to pass a bill where he can actually shut down the border at any point?
Maybe, yeah.
But he's acting like he can't do that now.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the front. Like, my hand's been tied the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm saying, no, remember what you campaigned on.
Right. The weird thing to me about the border situation has always been that, like, people who they'll like get mad about anything that like the right wants to do to secure the border. If you ask them, so you think the border should just be open, like anyone come in, they'll usually say no.
Right.
It's like, hold on. So what's the?
Yeah.
So what are they supposed to do? Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's racist to secure the border. It's like, is it though? You know?
Yeah.
It's just the border. Somebody, I think it was Daniel Tosh had that great joke about the Canadian border, how it's like their border wall is just America. You know, dude, Tosh is an underrated comic.
So underrated.
He's one of the best to ever do it.
100%.
But he's just kind of like, I bet there's probably a lot of people that just see him as like, oh, he's just like sell out. He has this show or whatever. But dude, if you see his comedy, it's as good as anybody almost.
Yeah, I'd say so. I always thought he was like the best mainstream edgy white guy.
I agree. I prefer him over Jesselnick.
Yeah, I think, and I prefer Tosh over Burr. I'll even say that because Burr has like a really funny delivery where I'm like, man, I think if anyone who enunciates says that, it's gonna fall flat.
Yeah.
Whereas Tosh, he doesn't necessarily have a funny delivery. Like it's
True.
It's just sharp as hell. But that's also
Great writer.
Yeah, that's why it takes him 5-6 years to come up with a special.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know, it's so much harder. Where, I mean, Burr's been living in L.A. for 10 years. He's still like he just came off the docks.
Yeah,
he knows not to let go of that fucking accent.
Oh yeah,
dude.
for sure.
It's dumb to let go of that.
Yeah.
And everybody's looking for an accent now because I think everybody knows.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a few guys. One guy from Sacramento, and he's funny as hell, but he added a fucking Southern accent to his. He's not from.
Oh wow.
And he's an excellent joke writer. I always thought he was so funny, but he knew that he's got to like become this caricature.
Yeah.
That's what comedy is now. You got to be like this caricature.
Yeah. For now, though, that's the thing. It always is changing. I feel like, but
I hope so. Well, here's the thing. I think I don't know if that's due to audience demand. I think that's just due to people being really good marketers and just hitting a demographic. When those people that are genuine bust through the industry, it's always superior. Like, you know, Louis, I think, when you're just like, man, that's like just a real guy, a real person. Tasha's are like a real person. Like, you can see that guy from like a nice part of Florida or a nice part of Orange County and the opinions he had. That's a real.
And even Theo Vaughn, he kind of is like a character, but. And obviously, like he has this like way of talking these sort of developed, where he just like tells all these wild like stories that most of them aren't true, but still, it's like when I see him, I'm like, this isn't a guy pretending to be white trash. Like this is a comic.
Yeah,
this is who he is.
Right.
There's obviously a performance to how he's funny, but it's still like you can see that he's very much him in there.
That's probably the most masterful job I've ever seen done of it, because you do have to add a little bit. You got to figure out it was just like a little bit of frosting for him. It wasn't the whole cake that he. And
like one of my favorite jokes of his, because to me it's like very alty and it's very avant garde. He's like I saw him do this live it's on a special, but I saw him do it live at Nashville Zanies. He was like, "What do you guys think about reincarnation?" And he just kind of just paused for a minute. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it. I'm a re-enlist. Like that's the whole joke. Like it just it crushed. It's so funny.
He was doing some really nuanced shit in Hollywood before he had the mullet, and because the thing is, he's not a bad looking guy, and there for a while he did look super LA, because I think he was coming off Real World or whatever he was on.
I've heard that he like hates that being brought up.
Oh yeah,
because he doesn't want to be known as coming from that for some reason. But it's like sense. It was on TV. It's out there. But
yeah. And I don't see him as a guy who crossed over to comedy either. But I think that's why.
He's a real comic.
Yeah.
But he's afraid people won't see him as that.
I could see that being a fear.
Right. But anyone knows comedy. It's like, this guy's a comic.
Yeah. Because he was doing such nuanced shit. But the audience wasn't getting it because I don't think it was spelled out enough. But he was doing. I was dying laughing at the Hollywood Improv, and he was fucking bombing one night. Like he was bombing. I'm like, this is great, but this audience is too stupid to get what he's trying to do. And then he added a little bit of frosting to, and I'm like, and now it's great. And Sebastian Maniscalco.
Oh right.
I think he's maybe he's tied with adding just enough of marketability, because he's been amazing. And then he's like, all right, I gotta go full Italian a little bit, and then boom, fucking arenas.
Yeah. So, that's what I need. I need a little frosting. I have zero frosting whatsoever.
Oh man.
I mean, I want to be myself on stage, which I am, but yeah, when I watch my tape, that's the one thing I'm like, damn, yeah, I gotta find a way to be like a little bit more loose and free in the way it's like sometimes I watch myself and I'm like, man, I'm having a good set, but I look mad.
Yeah.
It's like, why do I look mad on stage? It's like the jokes are working, but I don't look funny. I look mad.
Yeah, because you know what? That's such a big part of your personality is that you're not mad. You're a fun person to be around, super fun, and you like to laugh. So yeah, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be hard.
It's gonna be hard for you to not look mad.
I was just remembering when I took pictures of you in Arizona. I had like a nice zoom lens, and I was trying to get you on stage. Everything was like, we're gonna overthrow the government. Everything. I was like, damn.
Yeah, I don't know how to not look like that.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, and I've been fucking with my look on stage a little bit. I was talking with my wife, and she's like, you just need to dress like fucking Jesse Pinkman because it's who you are.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, shit, okay, let's do it. And then when it works so much better.
Yeah.
I have to work less hard to sell who I am because they're connecting dots for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it easier. But what sucks is the people that are not on board are definitively not on board anymore. Like when I dress, I used to like to dress neutral, dress nice for the show, maybe a button up, and sometimes I'd even wear a suit.
I remember those days. Yeah.
Yeah, and I could get anyone. I could get the whole crowd if I wanted. Now it's like as you start to define yourself, you're like, fuck, people are gonna fall off the wagon, and I don't want them to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah,
because like if I started wearing camo or something on stage.
Yeah, dude, you're gonna go full in, bro. You know, maybe try.
maybe think about it. I that's like a, you know, I'm sure you have this too, where it's like I have all these topics where I'm like, I know I want to write material about like this is like a thing that should be in my act, but I have just not found the right joke for it yet. And I know one of them has been for years how like I'm like really into guns and like into like military stuff, but I never served. Right. And this whole idea of like how people will like assume I was in the military because I'm into guns.
Yeah.
You know, like that's a whole, I want to like have a chunk on that at some point. Like the closest version to a joke I ever did about that was like, it's like I like shooting, not rules. You know? I just want to shoot guns. I don't,
because shooting rules.
I don't. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. It's like I don't need to attach rules to it. But yeah. But yeah, if I wore camo on stage, that'd have to be like my opener of being like, you know, I'm not in the military. I'm just a fan. You know? It's like a football jersey. You know, hey, maybe that's the angle right there.
That's such a funny
it's like some people wear a Patrick Mahomes jersey. I got camo. You know,
right? Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I can't throw a football.
Yeah.
I can't really throw a grenade either, but you know, like maybe.
How about Kansas City doing it again?
Oh, so happy. But I hate that we're a hated team now.
It's weird. Yeah, I noticed that.
I remember we were kind of likable.
Yeah.
But Taylor Swift fucked that up big time.
I don't get the hate for. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. I don't listen. The only thing I know about her music is like walking into and out of gas stations. Like I don't know, you know what I mean? But it's like I don't know. There's like dare I say there's almost something a little bit endearing about it, right? Because here's what I like about as an adult. One of the things that's neat about being a fan of professional sports is it kind of goes back to like your high school days. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like you go, because I played basketball, but still I like go to the football games, you know, it's like, I know these people, I go to high school, I'm in classes with them, you know, and then like I was in college for a little bit and you kind of have that same thing. Like, hey, this is our team. I don't really know these guys that well, but you know, this is our team. And then, all right, now I'm an adult. So it's the same thing. I have a team, you know, and there's something kind of fun about that. And it's, you always knew like, all right, the most popular girl is dating like the quarterback or something. Yeah. You know, so it's sort of like that happening on like this massive scale, which I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Like I don't care about it that much, but it's like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Maybe it's making people feel like it's high school again. You're like, fuck, I am the loser.
That's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. You nailed it.
That's gotta be it.
That is what it is.
It's not like celebrities being fans at games and getting a little bit of attention. I think Jamie Foxx is like a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Okay.
I feel like
Jack Nicholson, I've heard, likes the Lakers.
That's what I heard. He should get front row tickets.
He should, yeah.
If he's such a Laker fan.
Yeah.
So yeah, but because she's so successful,
right?
I mean, and this is weird to say, she's more of a valuable celebrity than maybe every celebrity in the world right now, right? Don't you? She's
like, yeah, I mean, like her and Beyonce are kind of the top of the pop world, right? I guess. Aren't they kind of equal? It's like popularity, success-wise, or
I think so.
They're selling out the same amount of.
Something like that. Like
she's like the Elvis of our time, kind of.
Here. She's like near Michael Jackson, Elvis type shit.
Right.
We can't act like if Elvis wasn't at a game, that it wouldn't be just what the fuck Elvis is here or Michael Jackson.
Right.
You know, I think that's people aren't realizing that they've seen celebrities at games before.
Yeah.
It's just she's even more recognizable than any celebrity that's ever been consistently showing up.
That relationship also is like a little bit fascinating. I feel like people are lying to themselves. They don't find it a little bit interesting, right? Because Travis Kelce, you know, as far as like star players in the NFL, you know, as far as just fame and star power, like he's probably top 5, you think? Probably something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if like if you saw an NFL promo, he's like you might expect to see him. Like he's just like one of the guys on the front of your mind. You know, he's not Tom Brady. You know, he doesn't play anymore, obviously, but still, it's like he's not maybe that level, but he's like one of the top. You know, he's one of the best tight ends to ever play the game. You know,
Yeah.
but Taylor Swift is like on this other stratosphere. He's one of the best in one of the biggest things that we pay attention to. She is like maybe the top of one of the most popular things, music. She's number one of music.
Right, which is even more popular
than the NFL. Everyone listens to music.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting where it's like, okay, now that they're dating, it's like, I wonder if it's like he thought he was famous, but now it's like, I wonder if she probably gets off on that. The fact that like, you know, she's dating someone that's famous, but not famous like her.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, she needs that. There's no way she doesn't need that.
Yeah. But there's also like no one famous like her, hardly. No one. Unless she was dating Trump.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah.
Imagine that.
I was reading some Owen Benjamin tweets about it, and he's got such a funny take about it. He keeps calling Travis Kelce gay because she's 34 and she's like banged all these dudes and sung about them. You're like, what professional athlete would choose her? So it's such a funny take.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just sucks that we're a hated team because I love that Mahomes was such a likable, like guy, and I think, man, you know what's crazy? He's like half black, half white, right?
Yeah.
I was telling my wife, I'm like, this is validating so many racist thoughts. I'm like,
they can't play the position. They can run it, but they can't. Maybe if they mixed, you can run the play and you can run.
And then we had to pretend.
Thought about that. That's hilarious.
Yeah. We had to ignore like that being in the quarterback psyche, booking
Right,
psyche.
yeah.
But it's clearly been there. That's always been like.
It's like, all right, what if we put Tom Brady and Lamar Jackson together?
Yeah.
They would do both.
Yeah.
You know they would.
And you're like, that's bullshit. And then now fucking Mahomes is like the best all around quarterback I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He did some shit.
He's probably better than Tom Brady. He doesn't have the record yet, but he's probably better.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely doesn't help that. You're like, fuck. So I was telling my wife that. I'm like, look what he's. We were just watching highlights. I think she's becoming a Chiefs fan, even though she's like from the Niners.
Yeah.
And
it's gonna be a tough Super Bowl for you guys.
It's gonna be tough. Last time I saw you was Niners, fucking Chiefs.
Was it? Oh
yeah.
wow. Okay.
And now we're doing it again.
That's crazy.
And I love the 49ers. I've been to only 49er games in my life. I've never been to live game because I lived in the Bay Area. They're like my second team, but I just
you didn't see the Chiefs play growing up there.
Never went to Arrowhead. You know, and it was this weird thing where, you know, I'm from Kansas. Kansas City, Missouri doesn't really see us as, you know, even though we share the same city. It's like on a border. There's Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri. And even the president at the time didn't know. Like, Trump was just like, congratulations to the people of Kansas.
I don't even know if I knew. So Arrowhead is in Missouri?
It's in Missouri.
Okay.
So they felt sort of distant in a way.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a football team.
Right.
We're, if anything, we're a college basketball state.
Oh, right.
That's our shit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think about the people who annoy me the most. And if a loss in the Super Bowl would hurt them, that's who I'm going to root against. And I don't like San Francisco people. So I'm like, well, I love the Niners, but not enough.
Yeah,
I would like to see them cry a little bit.
I'd love to see Kansas City win again. I've always I appreciate dynasties, and I do like Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. It's like my teams are Titans -- and now I'm kind of a Bears fan because I live in Chicago.
Oh yeah,
so Titans fan and Bears fan, brutal season.
Yeah,
but I feel like you got to have your teams that are like you have a close connection with, either because it's the team where you grew up.
Yeah.
Or there's just some kind of like you have like a legit connection with, but then it's cool, I think, to pick like this is my team for now because they can win. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. And that's Kansas City has sort of been that for me the past few years.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see them win again. And also now it's even more fun because people hate them because of the Taylor Swift thing, you know, and all that.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I don't know.
they really made a big deal about all these calls that they weren't.
Yeah.
Uh,
I hate that shit. The whole NFL is rigged shit. I'm not into that at all.
yeah. Although like when Mahomes won on that fucking sprained ankle,
Yeah.
there's like a few calls where like I think they erased like a touchdown or some shit.
Yeah.
Like something insane where I was like, well, I did feel like it was rigged, but for it to be reversed now, where like they're rigging it for Kansas City and the calls they were showing on video, I'm like, damn. There's definitely Taylor Swift influence,
Yeah.
I think, in the calls. Like, and I'm a Chiefs fan, but I'm like, they missed some shit. When I saw the replays, because I've been traveling, I didn't get to see these games. I was like, man, how are they not calling pass interference on a few of those things?
Yeah.
I
I mean, the Ravens, I think they lost straight up, though. Just they made a lot of mistakes. Lamar didn't play that great.
Yeah.
You know, also, I think you got to be careful, too. Like, I don't know, like what videos you're watching, because it's easy to show one side and not the other. And not because the thing is, like, refs are just going to miss calls.
Yeah.
Every game has missed calls.
Right.
You know, from playing, sports, it's like yeah, I mean, are there refs that have been corrupted? Like, of course, that's happened. But I don't know. I have a hard time just kind of buying into this whole NFL is rigged thing and they want certain teams to line up in the Super Bowl because maybe they're going to make more money. It's already the NFL. NFL is already like the most popular thing entertainment-wise that exists. The Super Bowl is still like one of the most watched things. I just don't see that it would matter to them enough, because if it ever like really came out and was like confirmed that it's like whatever rigged or scripted, it's fucking over.
It is, yeah. I think like it would have to take like a Splinter Cell to like influence the refs like financially. Like if there was like a billionaire that was attached to a player on the field. Oh shit. No, I just like introducing conspiracy theories.
It's Taylor. She's paying the fucking refs and helping Kelsey sell more jerseys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
How those Chicago games been, man? That's awesome.
Oh,
Like,
dude. Soldier Field, even though the Bears sucked this past year, there's nothing like, I guess I haven't been to that many NFL games, but I will say compared to the Titans games, at least, the intensity of like Chicago sports fans is just on another level.
Yeah. So
I mean,
that's why I understand if you move to Chicago, you can't help but be a little bit of a Chicago fan.
Yeah.
Because it's so much more intense than like.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
Oh man, when I was at I went to the season opener, Bears Packers season opener.
Yeah.
Got our ass kicked, but Dick Butkus, who that is.
Yeah.
So like 2 weeks before he died, he was at that game, and I went with a bunch of comics, and we had end zone tickets. We were just a few rows back on the end zone, and he walked out like right in front of us.
Wow.
And he had a mic. The place went crazy. Dick Butkus is right on the field, playing the Packers, and he's like 80, so he didn't give a fuck. He goes, beat those fucking Packers. Just like cussed into the whole stadium. He didn't give a shit. And he died like fucking 10 days after that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But yeah, they got their ass kicked. Bears have a lot of problems, but man, yeah, the atmosphere is incredible. I was even at like other games where they didn't play the Packers, and they're still like chanting "fuck the Packers" and shit.
Yeah.
When you're walking through, there's like this tunnel where you got to go under this, bridge or whatever. And it's like people are just fucking chanting, saying all kinds of crazy shit in there. It's great.
Yeah, dude, they're interesting. I remember when Kobe was up for a trade because he wanted to get traded. Everybody acts like that never happened.
Yeah,
But
I've heard about that. He wanted to go to. I've heard he wanted to go to the Wizards and play with Jordan at one point.
I heard that, and he admitted that it was Chicago though.
Yeah,
that he was really looking at. And I remember,
he wanted to be Jordan.
Yeah, he wanted to be.
And he kind of was.
Yeah, he's pretty close. Actually, I do want to talk about, because you're a basketball player too.
Yeah.
So I was a basketball player. That's more my sport. Well, anyway, they were chanting Kobe's name, and it wasn't even a Laker game. They were chanting his name in Chicago.
Oh wow!
To try to entice him to come home.
Wow!
I was like, that's interesting. Like that's
it.
Because any other game, they're just like, you're not Jordan, you fucking
yeah, totally
rapist piece of shit.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, he's coming, Kobe.
Yeah. Totally, yeah. Bulls games are a lot of fun. I've been to a bunch.
Dude, now that's so you were saying, I remember you made a post, you're like, these breakaway rims are just such a they're such a boner kill.
Yeah. Well, it's not the breakaway rims, it's at least the ones in Chicago, they got those things like so greased up that they make zero noise. Do you know Andre Drummond? He played for the Lakers for a little bit.
Okay.
But he's on the Bulls. He's like, I don't know, one of the closer things to like what Shaq was, but not as skilled. But he's just a big hoss of a dude, like 6'11", And in person, pretty good seats, saw him just hammer it, two hands, like pulls like it was like, to me, it was like the closest thing I could see to a Shaq dunk live, because this guy's a hoss, and you see the goal like come down. It made like no sound.
That's so
like, the fuck, you need like to hear like a creak and then a pop when they let go of the rim. But it was just like butter.
Yeah, you need that noise was so much humiliation too.
Yeah,
it was a statement.
I'll never forget a high school game. We were playing. So we were just a bunch of suburban white kids.
Nice.
And some of us were country white kids. So a mix of country and suburban white kids. Because I was one of the country ones. And we go out to West Tennessee. Different kind of thing going on out there.
Oh, yeah. A lot of Dutch.
So we were playing a team way better than us that was not in our conference. Yeah. And we were the only white people in there. Us, the team, and the coaches. I mean, for real, we were the only white people in that gym. I mean, for real.
You didn't even need jerseys at this point.
Exactly, yeah. It's like, what are these for,
You don't have to suit up, kids.
Yeah.
Just wear what you want.
And this was my freshman year in high school, so I wasn't starting, and I was sitting on the bench. I'll never forget. I mean, the place was going crazy. It was hype in there. And right on the tip-off, they had a point guard that ended up going to Memphis, and they had this was Giles County High School, and they had this guy who was I think he was like 6'6". His name was Tyler Smith, just a hoss of a dude. I mean, just a freak athlete.
Yeah.
He went to UT and it kind of got in some trouble, and like could have been an NBA player for sure, but he kind of made some mistakes. But anyways, they get the ball, alley-oop. I mean, it was kind of a bad pass because he had to go way up to get it.
Those are the best.
Came down the corner, down the sideline, caught it way up. Caught it with two hands, but then came down with one, if I remember correctly. And what was crazy about it, I will never forget this till the day I die. I'm watching this happen. And at this point, it was quiet. The crowd was like hyped for the beginning of the game, right? Tip off. Okay, we got the ball, and it's kind of quiet, coming down. I heard, as he dunked it, I heard the rim, that kind of like, I can't impersonate it, but that kind of creak sound of the rim before that everyone kind of realized what just happened.
Yeah.
So you hear that just like squeak, and then just, and the place went crazy. And that was just like, we're fucked. First play of the game. It's like, we are in trouble. I'll never forget that, though. I mean, even though it was against us, it was like exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. I tried out for my freshman and sophomore team in Kansas. I couldn't make the team because they were just like, the kids were basically Division II already. Like they're nasty. And I had the best jump shot in the school. I shot like 90% in all the drills. Like for real, 90%.
That was a good jump shooter too.
Yeah, dope. Both that. How do you? I was gonna ask you what you think about the 3-point revolution too. But then I still got cut because the athleticism of everybody. It's just like, no, these kids are going to college.
Right.
We don't need it. And then so when I moved to the Bay Area, I made the team immediately. Yeah. And it was all these like Silicon Valley kids and shit, like ultra diverse.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's like
totally.
a Korean point guard. There's a fucking Indian kid as our center. Like, just not enough monolithic ethnicity to really compete.
Right.
You either need to go full European or full black. Stop fucking around.
Yeah.
And I remember we were playing this team from, I think it was either Oakland or South San Francisco, right? And it was one of those things where they're not in our conference, but something happened.
Yeah.
And I saw them. I was like, man, that looks like my fucking old Kansas high school team. Like, these dudes are looking athletic.
Yeah.
It was so bad. Like, we played them at their home court. they were windmilling on us, and the audience wasn't reacting.
Oh, that's bad. That's a really bad sign.
They're just like, yeah, that's supposed to.
Yeah, like whatever. Boring.
They're fucking like not even just tomahawks, like full on windmills. You're like,
Wow.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, yeah. The skill range is vast at the high school basketball level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, me being 6'8", I could hold my own a bit with those guys.
Yeah.
But I wasn't the athlete, of course, that some of those guys were. Yeah, I was like, yeah, we were saying about the 3-point line. As far as in the NBA, yeah, the I still enjoy watching NBA games. I watch, but yeah, I feel like it's less interesting than it was. Like one reason I like the Bulls, too. Well, I live in Chicago, but DeMar DeRozan.
Mm-hmm.
So like he's kind of an old school player. He plays like Kobe. Like he has like a mid range game, where he makes a lot of inside moves and stuff like that. He'll occasionally pop a three.
Yeah.
And the Bulls are kind of a big 3-point shooting team, but it's like it's more fun to watch that when you're at the game and someone hits a big three and it's like close. It's like exciting,
Yeah.
but it's just not as fun to watch as like someone has a good mid range game. They're taking it to the hole, post moves and stuff like that.
Yeah, because you have to have, you can't just pull up a lot of the time in the mid range. You have to make a move,
Right.
a lot of the time. So it's fun seeing their skill range.
Right.
And I as a player, I remember how hard it was because there's less space. And I remember, like, when I was playing, we're just coming off of that hand check shit. Where, like, some games you're getting hand checked, and other games they call it.
Yeah.
Because, like, the NBA finally pulled it away. But I remember how shitty hand checks were. Like,
Yeah.
like you cannot. These kids now, they just don't know how shitty hand checks are. Like, sure, you didn't see a zone back in the 90s, but first of all, there were zones. They just knew how to run them where you couldn't see.
Yeah.
But if it's like man on man and they can hand check you, it's so hard to get by. It's harder dealing with that than a zone.
Yeah.
With no hand checks. It was a fucking pain. And then all these, they didn't have any handles. They didn't have any 3 points. It's like, yeah, because he had to back you down at the 3-point line because you're doing this.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I remember that, having to back people down and,
Yeah.
But now you can do, like, they can't touch you, and you can do all these, like, lateral, like, jab step lateral moves that would have been a travel back then. Because I remember the only thing you could really do is, like, you can jab step and step back, right? But you couldn't jab step and go lateral.
Yeah.
And you'll see that now, like these lateral pull-ups, and you're just like, dude, I would have been so much better of a player if I could just get an open shot whenever I wanted. Just sidestep, boom.
Yeah, I see some of that stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, how's that not a travel?
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell?
And some of these are travels. Like some of this shit.
They get away with a lot in the NBA.
Yeah. Like, oh, that was that was the zero step. How is
Yeah.
it? If I pay $5 for a hamburger, they're like, well, it's $6.
Yeah.
Well, that's the $0. No, it's $1.
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
see that's a
Right. Yeah, for real.
Yeah,
Very different game now.
They were occasionally. I think the first quarter when I was at this Warriors game a couple weeks ago, they're hand checking Curry, and I think it's because it's first quarter. They're not going to call that shit. So I was like, okay, let's see what he does. He was having a hard time. So I just want to see, like, how skilled are today's players for real.
Right.
They might be more skilled, but I just don't think the margins are so exponential.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah, people get into those arguments about, modern players were like destroyed back in the 90s or whatever, Yeah, it'd probably be more even. That'd probably be the thing that would surprise people. Probably be more even.
Yeah.
Might take a minute for them to get used to it or something like that. If I mean, some of the arguments people make are so dumb. When people say like LeBron James couldn't handle playing in the 90s, like, if you've seen his body, he'll be fine. He'll figure it out. Like, he'll be fine. And then they say about Michael Jordan couldn't play in the modern game. Trust me, he would figure it out. That's the thing. It's like, that's what makes them so great is how competitive they are.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they have this rigid skill set that they just like couldn't adapt.
Right.
I mean, Michael Jordan one way played fucking baseball, and then came back,
Right.
and he was like kind of rusty, but then he became just as good as he was before. I mean,
Yeah. They say they always all plumbers and shit. That's like the classic.
oh, I hate that. Yeah.
The average height in the 90s was more.
Yeah.
Because there's more, like, they were actually bigger. Because now you got to play a little bit of small ball. Cause
Yeah. That's probably just because of Georgia Mearson.
Oh, yeah, that average. Yeah.
7'7".
Yeah.
Then I got Wemby. I saw. I went to the Spurs game when they played the United Center. Saw
How
Wemby
was
play.
that? Now, is that boring?
He had kind of a bad game,
Oh,
and they didn't play him a lot, so it was a little bit.
okay.
But he's good though. People
Yeah.
talk shit, but I think he's good.
Oh, yeah, he looks skilled for his height, and especially so new that but I can't imagine just how boring it's going to get when he gets good.
Oh yeah, you might be right. Yeah.
It's going to be like, okay, do we have
Yeah.
to raise the rim? What do we do?
Right, yeah. It might get to that point where they got to bring the rim up. I don't know.
Yeah. Or bring, fuck. I don't even know how you deal with that.
Yeah.
What rules do you bring back?
Right.
Camp in the lane? Let people camp in the lane again, maybe?
Maybe. The scoring is getting pretty out of hand.
Yeah. 140 to, what was that Laker Warrior? 140 to 145.
Yeah, that's too much. Like 120 should be like a high score, and that's just like normal now.
Yeah. And if
Yeah.
you get 30 now, that's like the equivalent of 15 in 2001.
Yeah, I don't know if you can't really move the 3-point line back any further because you have no more space on
Right.
the side.
Plus, they're hitting from fucking half court. now
Right,
anyway.
exactly. Yeah. So that's not going to do anything. Yeah, I don't know. Bring back hand checking. I don't know.
I would love to see it.
Yeah,
It'd be so fun to see. Like, let them just do a season.
yeah,
Just one season.
right.
Maybe the next pandemic, the in-house tournament.
Yeah.
Let's go hand check. Let's do all the
Yeah.
90s shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was watching these. Like were you a big Kobe guy? I was a huge Kobe
Yeah.
guy. Even though I'm like a Warriors fan,
Yeah.
as a basketball player, you're like, damn, that guy's got everything.
Incredible. Yeah, I loved, I watched all those finals, like those, I was a Shaq fan first. Like when I was growing up, Michael Jordan and Shaq, those are like my two favorite
Yeah,
players,
same here.
which of course got me into the Lakers. And yeah, of course I love Kobe. Yeah. Oh, that whole team, that whole lineup, Rick Fox, Derek Fisher, Robert Horry, and those guys. I mean,
Yeah. I wish that he had less of a stacked team then, just to see what he could really
Yeah.
do.
yeah,
Like being a second option. I looked at all these analytics about his impact on the game. He was such a high scorer in the lowest scoring era.
oh yeah,
The early 2000s were the lowest scoring era, which is
Interesting.
very interesting. In that he was actually a conservative player, if you look at the statistics, because once you allow only games for 40 minutes or more, if you just look at those games,
Mhm.
him, LeBron James, and Michael Jordan are identical players.
Really
They're identical.
interesting.
LeBron will get a few more rebounds,
Yeah,
like one or two. But other than that, because Kobe would sit out a lot. If he had a lead, if he just lit him up the first 3 quarters, he would go sit. Or he did it the other way most of the time. He wouldn't do shit for 3 quarters and try to let these idiots learn the triangle. 'Cause
yeah.
he had to fucking rebuild in the middle of his prime. People
right.
forget.
Yeah,
So he would just let whatever, and then the fourth quarter he would just light up everybody. Like people forget, like it's not just 40 points. It's like
Yeah.
he did 30 of them in the fourth quarter.
yeah.
And I remember seeing that live. Like he was, Klay Thompson was guarding him. I was like, wow, Kobe's only got like fucking 8 points this whole game. This is lame. And then like fourth quarter comes around, he left with like 45 and just fucking lit it just out of nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah, he was insane.
Yeah.
Insane. I love that documentary that came out on Netflix about the Redeem Team.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one.
They're like, our team's too soft. Can we find some sociopath
Yeah.
that could possibly?
Anyone.
How genius of a move that was for him to run through Pau Gasol.
Yeah.
Sends a message to his USA team.
Yep.
Then it sends a message to Powell for the next season.
Oh, right.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's why he goes to the team. Like, I'm gonna run through Powell.
Yeah.
Like, I know he's gonna screen. I'm gonna run through that bitch.
Yeah.
And then all the USA guys think that it's just, oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah. This is also for the following year to
Right.
toughen his bitch ass up so we can get a ring, and then they did.
Yeah. That's awesome. That LeBron James' reaction to that in that interview is so funny because it's like weird to see LeBron being like kind of like wowed by someone.
Yeah.
You know, as good as he is.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, he ain't about to do that. And then it's like we're about to kill these guys.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh shit.
Yeah, he was such a alpha dog.
Yeah.
There was a few things. Do you remember that shot he hit in the Olympics where he hit some three like 3 in a row, something ridiculous. He got a steal, a rebound. Like he seriously just won the game.
Yeah.
And then I remember he shot something crazy, and then he was doing this like right after. Do you remember?
Oh,
that?
I do remember that. Yeah.
I didn't know that was to LeBron.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah, I saw that story, but now I forget what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess he was telling LeBron that shit.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah. I mean, at that point, did LeBron even have any titles yet?
not yet, but like there was
Yeah.
definitely a debate of like who's the best player in the league. It was.
Yeah.
That was a debate.
Yeah. But I would imagine, though, between the two of them, though,
Yeah.
it's like, you know, he's got the seniority. He's got rings. He's been in the league longer, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure Kobe respected LeBron. He would have had to, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah, but at that point, you needed someone that would unabashedly just say, "I'm the best on this team. We're
Yeah.
doing it." You needed like some crazy,
Need a leader, yeah.
yeah. And he's never not a leader.
Yeah. That had to be interesting for Coach K, where, you know, he's coaching that team and obviously coaching at Duke, he's had some great players come through there, but it's like now he's got the best player, arguably one of the best, maybe the second best that ever played the game.
Right.
It's got to be bizarre.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, because in that documentary, they talked about how, you know, there was like whole practices where he wouldn't even touch the ball.
Right. He just wanted to defend.
Yeah. He would just do all the things that coaches have to like damn near beg players to do,
Yeah.
you know?
And they called him uncoachable, which is so interesting.
Yeah. Weird.
But he did things that were so like,
He probably
did-
thought he was beyond the coach, maybe as part of it. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know, but like the things he would decide to do was he played the game on a level that you can't see in statistics.
Oh, right.
You know, the decisions,
Yeah.
like, you know, not like scoring low intentionally just to get the team's offense to run.
Yeah.
It's not like people are locking him up.
Right. Right.
When
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So I always argue that LeBron hasn't passed Kobe yet.
Yeah.
Because there's so much context, you know, so much. I feel like if he was in that weak Eastern Conference, I think he could have made it to the finals every year too. And I don't think just anybody can do that, but I think he could have.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I kind of agree with the people who will rank like it's like Michael, Kobe, and then LeBron. I feel like
that's the real list.
yeah.
It's everybody wants to. They have this pressure to fit in Larry or Magic or Kareem because they want to come off as real basketball fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we all know deep down it's
Yeah.
Michael, Kobe, LeBron. Like,
Yeah. Absolutely.
because if you ask people like, okay, you have a 5-on-5 game to pick to save your life,
Yeah.
are you gonna fuck around with Larry Bird? Like,
Right. Right.
like
yeah.
sure, he hit some great shots, but
Yeah.
like, give me something where I don't know what I'm going up against.
Yeah.
Give me the best. It's Michael, Kobe, LeBron.
Absolutely. After that, Shaq is going to be up there pretty close, though.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, in his prime, he wasn't versatile on the level that those other guys are, but he might have been one of the most unstoppable just offensive players ever. Like when talking about his actual prime,
His prime is absurd.
dude. Some of those moves that he would make. His footwork was just insane with being that strong. I mean, I'll see those clips pop up on Instagram every now and then. I'm just like reminded of it. It's like, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying. It's like at that point, it's like you're not even worried about him scoring on you. You're worried about him not like dunking you with the ball in the
Right.
goal. That's what I'd be worried about. You know?
He'd fucking like pinch your arm. Like if you had a hand right there, you just pinch it and whip you around.
Yeah.
300 pounds just whipping your body.
Yeah.
Man.
He weighed like over 400 at one
Or
point.
over 400. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Crazy.
I mean, people act like Jordan wouldn't be a second option as well on that
Yeah.
team. Everyone's a second option if you have prime Shaq.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just the goal isn't on the ground. It's not a touch. It's up there.
Right.
Tall. We need tall and strong. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Whenever I see those things where it's like a meme or whatever, and it'll be like 6 players of every position, but you have Michael and Kobe on there. They're like, which one do you bench or whatever? I've always thought, imagine, even though Michael and Kobe being top 2 players, if you had like the other top players at every other position, imagine being able to rotate Michael and Kobe in and off the bench at that position. Like, holy shit. You just got more Jordan.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, insane.
Yeah.
I hate that, man. That's a big regret of mine, which was not my fault, but I never got to see him play.
I saw him live twice. He put up like 46.
Yeah.
In,
Oh, I was talking about Jordan.
LA.
You're talking about Kobe.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Yeah. I never saw Kobe either, but that's incredible.
Yeah, I wouldn't. There would be no way that I ever saw Jordan because I mean I was a kid. I couldn't comprehend why he was great. I knew he was the best ever, but I didn't understand the game yet. I didn't understand footwork and all this stuff. And now, even now, I look back at highlights and I'm like, damn, he's so efficient.
Yeah.
And then flashy when he needs to be. It's
Right. Yep.
nasty. They looked at his 3-point percentage too. Like actually, when he started shooting at a volume that would be close to equivalent of today,
Yeah.
he'd have been a pretty good 3-point shooter too.
Really?
They act like that's a weakness, but
Oh, yeah.
no, it was pretty good. He was like matching almost Reggie Miller in percentage.
Oh, wow.
I think it was 98. They looked at when he finally started shooting threes.
Yeah.
Which it made sense to not shoot threes because you're like, I don't want to do the long rebound, you know.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody, I was on I think it was some Instagram post, and it was like, it might have been Anthony Edwards. There was some kind of putback dunk that happened in a game like a few days ago, and they were like, the best putback dunk in NBA history. And I was like, nah, I don't know what the best one is, but it's not. This ain't better than the one Jordan did on the free throw.
on that free throw, that was insane.
Just came out of nowhere.
It was the best frame too because you didn't get to see him take off.
Right.
It's just and then you just see this guy flying.
I got this, Scotty. Dude, you know Scotty hates that clip now.
Right. Yeah. Fucking poor Scotty.
Oh, man.
How about Chicago booing Jerry Krause?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I understand they were upset because he broke up one of the greatest sports dynasties ever.
Yeah.
But, he's dead. It was just his widow was there.
His widow, that might have been.
But that's a very Chicago thing to
I
do.
know, right?
That's a very Chicago thing to do.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck in that city.
Yeah. You know what? It took me like 2 days to finally disagree with Chicago fans. I was like, good for them. I was like, so, and then they showed her going, oh! And I'm like, nah, still good for them. Fuck them. And then eventually I'm like, okay. But and that's the cool thing about Chicago fans. I don't think they registered that she was there. Like when it panned her, they go,
yeah. Yeah, they pull around here. Oh, hot in here.
Yeah. So I get it. Like they still have heart. I've noticed that. Like Chicago and like Boston. I went to a Celtics game once. They had a halftime charity, whatever the hell thing. And they announced these people and everybody just gets up, starts clapping for it. Like it's like standing O for something where if it was a Laker game, everybody's just looking at their iPhones and eating popcorn.
Oh yeah.
It was like it's just different. There's just more heart.
Yeah.
It's
a cool city. The politics of that city is fucking. It's one of the worst places, But as far as just like the people there and the culture of it, it's pretty cool. I like it.
I like it. I like that you go into a bar and it's not a bunch of people trying to get laid. They're like debating politics and shit.
Right. It's like Cheers. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, these are just like people who just hang out and drink. It's not every bar is in a party.
Right.
And you have neighborhood bars is something that I never experienced. I know they're in other cities, but it's just like, whoa, there's a bar right here. We're in a fucking neighborhood. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Those are really cool. I always think I don't like, I live on a pretty busy street, so I'm not like in a neighborhood and I don't have a neighborhood bar, but I always think about like how bad for your health would that be? You live across the street from like an incredible bar,
Yeah. Yeah, I can attest.
Yeah, I'm sure it'd be cool though. It's a great drinking city. That is for sure.
Yeah. Everybody's hammered. I mean, you kind of need it for the cold a lot of the time too.
Yeah, that's just the Midwest in general. Like Milwaukee, I think they say is like the biggest drinking city.
That makes sense.
Yeah. You ever been up there, done shows? It's a good. I mean, the Midwest in general is a good comedy.
I feel like they're
area.
the easiest crowds, in a good way, where it's like I can do anything that I want to do.
Right.
You gotta have to calibrate as much.
Yeah, it's a good balance
Mhm.
of good old folks, kind of, but they're also not like super like uncultured necessarily.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, the internet keeps them like even stuff that you think they wouldn't know about. Now
Mhm.
they're just an informed, super cool. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. I mean, it doesn't get any better than the Midwest, honestly. I really love Ohio because they're a purple state.
Yeah.
Like because my whole act is finding a way to fuck over a demographic that was liking me. I mean, every time I'm like, shit, I wish I could find one, but I'm gonna piss this group off with this.
Yeah.
Piss this group off, and then I can't win them back just because I pissed off the other group. So I enjoy Ohio. I enjoyed upstate New York.
Oh, I bet that's cool. I've never been
Man.
up there.
They're pretty great because you get a little bit of Canada, you get a little bit of New York City.
Yeah.
Just nice, fun. They're a little crazy now, though. They were my favorite, and then I've noticed cities have changed since the pandemic.
Yeah.
That now some of my favorites are I'm like, oh, you guys are nuts now.
Yeah.
Like you got kept inside, something happened.
Yeah. Yeah. I see that in Chicago. Still people are like obsessed with it. I saw a post in the Chicago comedy group where somebody was like, we need to like change out mics between sets and all this kind of stuff.
Oh,
It's like it's 2024.
Yeah.
Okay. Relax.
My 95-year-old diabetic grandmother died of COVID. You're gonna tell me it's not real?
Yeah.
Oh wow, it sounds dangerous.
Yeah. And now people want to. It's like I miss the days when you could just be sick and it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
But now people want to like put COVID protocols on, just like, oh, I have a cold, I'm going to wear a mask, or I'm not going to go be around people or whatever. It's like no one thought about that before.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like we have these things called immune systems.
Yeah.
Which obviously it can't do everything, but it's like when we're at a normal level, you kind of just,
Right.
I don't know.
I feel those people are crazy. Upstate New York was the opposite of that, where they're probably more anti-masker than anything, but
Yeah.
because they're cooped up, they're like rabid dogs now.
Yeah.
So then it's hard to there's too many incidents in
Yeah.
every fucking show. So I mean they already have like a cabin fever, just off of their weather and shit like that, and not enough stuff to do.
Yeah.
And then you delete more of that now they're just kind of weird now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I used to love Albany and
Yeah.
Syracuse and Buffalo. Maybe Buffalo's cool still, but that was my favorite club was Buffalo Helium.
Huh.
I was like, this is the perfect crowd for me.
Yeah.
Now I don't know.
Yeah. They won't like you now going up there if you wear a Kansas City Chiefs jersey.
Yeah.
Boy, those fans were very sad.
Man,
They took that hard.
it's always sad with cities like that because as comedians, you know people in that area.
Right.
Like when Detroit lost, I was like, damn, dude, that's
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah.
People are gonna be fucking killing themselves. dude.
Right.
Like for sure, there's gonna be at least.
Yeah. It was like, finally, this is our year. And then, they made it very far, though. They're not a laughingstock there anymore. They're a legit team.
That's nice. Like, yeah, that because Niners are my second team.
Yeah.
And I was like, this doesn't feel good.
Yeah. Yeah, you looked out. Your two teams are playing against each other in the Super Bowl.
The chances of that happening in my lifetime within 4 years.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So twice, right?
Yeah,
that's
2020.
crazy.
2020 it happened, and that was the year I got married. And so we're just like, dude, are people going to show up to the wedding, man? Like, because my family's Kansas City.
Yeah.
Our wedding was the Saturday before the Super Bowl.
Oh,
We didn't know that was going to be.
Right.
And then 49ers, like the wedding was in L.A.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we're asking both San Francisco and Kansas to travel
Yeah.
and possibly miss the Super Bowl.
Damn.
But they showed up, which is cool.
Yeah. I would say they probably just like watch it there. Just stay an extra day and watch it there.
That ended up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Watched it. And
Yep.
And
Well-
I feel every time I play Kansas City, they win.
Oh yeah.
So I just played Kansas City
Okay.
last month, and I feel like we're gonna.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we got some shows we got to do here in Austin, Texas.
Yes, we
So,
do.
About time to wrap it up. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks,
It was a lot
man.
of fun, man. Good to see you again. Been a while since we.
I can't believe 4 years,
I know, and it's funny. It's always cool when you bump into a comic you know on the road. You know.
dude. Had you not posted that you're driving through Texas, that
Yeah, that's funny.
this literally came together. What, within 18 hours?
Yeah, and Texas is huge. So
Yeah.
I was like, what are the odds? I was like, let me hit him up and see, because he's probably somewhere else in Texas. But
Yeah.
Yep.
Good.
hell yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Thanks, guys.
We'll do it again. All right.
Why not? Why not? I don't know. I feel like there need to be a physical thing.
Yeah. Let's just end it weird, you know.